My name is Larry Dillon, and I'm the CEO of MoveMyBiz.com, and we're thrilled to have with us today Mark Basil from MySpace. Mark, how are you doing today?
Great. Thank you, Larry.
So talk to us about acoustics. Why is that important?
Well, it's important for a couple of reasons, Larry, is that it's you can't have your cake and eat it too. You know, wide open spaces and collaborative spaces where groups of people can get together to have meetings can be distractive to other workers. It's typically referred to as knowledge workers that have to contemplate and think and, you know, use their brains. And, you know, some of that's impacted by demographic. You know, a younger generation is less distracted because they're used to working in that kind of environment. They can slap on their headphones and literally drop down anywhere. But, you know, as you get into the older generation and you start mixing workers in the workplace, there needs to be attention to controlling the sound that's created by these more open spaces. And there are a lot of ways to address that. And of course, you combine that with the other trend that we talked about and what our company does in doing modular architectural interiors. And you now have walls that basically don't go all the way up to what's referred to as the deck or the floor above. And so you're going to have sound loss, even though you have, as you can see above me, an acoustical ceiling tile. You're still going to have sound loss above what's called the grid or the ceiling tile. We have a sound masking solution. And this is basically background noise that's introduced into the space that essentially masks exactly what it's in the description. It masks the sound that people make in the space, and it's tuned into human speech frequency so that it sounds like I'm standing or sitting further away from someone. So if I was 5 feet away from someone and talking to you, it would be more like I was sitting 30 or 40 feet away and talking. So you might be able to hear what I'm saying, but you wouldn't be able to really make out the words. So that is something that's very important to consider in a space. And the other things you can look at is what are the acoustical ratings in the walls. It's measured by called sound transmission class, and the higher the number, the better. So you're looking at typically drywall in the 36 to 39 range. You'll be looking for a movable wall system or modular wall system that it's at least going to have that rating, if not higher. And then there are other things you need to be concerned about, and they're referred to as flanking pass, and that's just a fancy term for the sound leaking through openings. So you have to look at a product that's very well built and well sealed. For example, in the glass walls we make, we use joints that are perfectly sealed where the glass comes together, as opposed to what a contractor would do and put in a silicone joint or eliminate a joint altogether. And just a fraction of a decimal of an opening, of a gap, can have a significant impact on the sound acoustical rating in a wall system. One more point, Larry, that I want to make, and it's significant, is that what's referred to as noise distractions are one of the biggest complaints, right up there with it's too hot and it's too cold in the office, and has a significant impact on productivity with knowledge workers. So a proper planning and engaging the right professional and careful consideration of the products being put into the office, especially as more and more offices move towards open, creative type of collaborative workspaces, are critical for a business. The cost involved in going back in and retrofitting a space, if the proper attention wasn't given initially to acoustical privacy in the space based on the needs of that particular tenant. And just to put it in perspective, the listeners, they can imagine you literally having to go in and rip out walls and replace them or insulate them or add more walls into a space. And doing that after the fact is extremely expensive, because now you don't have the economies of scale and the efficiencies of the initial build-out of the space. And it's also the downtime involved in that with companies that don't have the right amount of privacy in the space And that's not to mention the productivity issues that are involved and potential litigation. Because as you had alluded to, confidential information, people overhearing and things going on within the space.